Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Top 5 Saturdays Live with me, Chase Lee, and my co-host,
Ryan Sutfield.
That's fucking right. And so if you're new to this show, every single week, movies come out on Fridays, and so we kind of pick, a certain movie that's coming out, and we'll do it over like an actor's biography of films or a director or that type of genre. We do a top 5 list of something coming out the Friday before. Sorry, I'm stuttering. But this week we're going to do it over our favorite summer movies, and this is going to be interesting because there's a lot of them that came out. But before we begin, Brian, would you like to introduce our guest for today?
Yes, this is my friend Matt. He's the co-host of my film podcast, Nerdy Schoolers, and it's great having him on here. It's cool that we're going to have 3 different perspectives, like you said before we recorded. Yeah,
it's going to be really fun. So let's not waste any time. Brian and I have decided to do honorable mentions afterwards, and then we'll do our worst. But before we do any of that, let's get into our top 5. So here's how we're going to do it with 3 people. We're just going to rotate like normal, just with one extra person. I know it's a lot of math to fucking handle, but I think I can do it. So, all right, so I got my trusty board with me. So whatever Brian and Matt say and whatever, well, mine's already written down, but whatever they say, I'm going to write down, and I'll show you guys the list after the end of the episode. And you're probably wondering just real quick, hey guys, fucking Friday night. You're recording this on Friday. We know. Listen, Brian's got to go do something. I'm going to probably do nothing and just sit on my ass on Saturday because of how much walking I've fucking done. So let's get this started. So I want to ask this question first to Matt. Since you aren't, I don't really know you that well, so I don't know how big of a movie fan you are, but were you pretty impressed with the summer lineup this year?
Yes, I was. At first, it all started when they announced Avengers and then Mad Max. I was both those movies I was extremely hyped for when they first came out. And then the rest of the movies, just as the summer went on, it just got better and better. I was like, oh shit, there's a lot more movies I have to see. I'm happy.
Yeah, and hey, I'm Brian. I don't know about you. I never asked you, but was it a pretty good summer this year?
It was a pretty good summer. I liked last summer more because there was a blockbuster, a critically acclaimed blockbuster that came out month after month. Like last year, X-Men, and then it was Edge of Tomorrow, and then Planet of the Apes, and then Guardians. Like this year, there wasn't really a critically acclaimed blockbuster every month. There was one in May, then there was one in July, and then there was one here. But yeah, it was a pretty good summer movie season.
Yeah, I really – hey, any summer movie season is good when you have 2 fucking Marvel movies coming out within 2 months of each other. Come on, that's awesome. Yeah, I thought this was a pretty good summer overall. Now, I mean, I had 32 movies that I saw through the entire summer, and I had about 20 that were good. So this was hard to whittle down, and I took it from this standpoint before we begin. I didn't put any indies on here, only because those are probably going to be on the end of the year list. I want to celebrate the summer and what movies surprised me, what movies were exciting to see on the big screen. I went on more of that aspect. I mean, listen, Matt and Brian could have gone in any way, shape, or form. It's their fucking list. I'm just letting you guys this what I did. So End of the Tour is not on there, but it's probably going to be my end of the year list. So that's exactly why I'm going to wait until the end. So let's go and get this started. Matt, I'm going to let you go first since you were the guest. What is your number 5 pick?
My number 5. This was out of all the lists, I had most of the lists done before this, but this was the one I kept going between many different movies. But I liked Trainwreck. That's my number 5.
Interesting. Okay.
That's the one I talked to. That was the first time that we met.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you tell me? Because you said that you've
never seen a Judd Apatow. Yeah. Totally.
Okay. That's okay. I don't want to fucking hear that. That's blasphemy to my ears. That's no. Okay. Because here's how I got my kick. When I was 14, that's when the 40-Year-Old Virgin came out, and so I was really intrigued by it. But of course, I was 14. I couldn't fucking see it because it was rated R. Now, this is the best story I have of some of my last days in high school. It was junior year, and that's when Knocked Up came out. And I remember me and my friends used our skip day to basically go eat and go see Knocked Up when we were the only ones in the theater. And I remember we were laughing our fucking asses off because it was so goddamn funny. Matt, get on that shit. You gotta watch the 40-Year-Old Virgin, Knocked Up. I would say stay away from funny people, and you might like This Is 40. So That would be my ranking. But do you think Amy Schumer has a good future in this industry?
Yeah. I mean, I've never watched her show, so I mean, I couldn't comment before I saw the movie about her writing, but her writing's really good.
Yeah, like she actually showed that she has some acting chops. I think we all remember that funeral scene. So, Trader X is a great choice, man. So, Brian, what about you, sir? What is your number 5?
Well, okay, like I was gonna put an indie on here, but then I decided, I'll save that for the end of the year as well. So my number 5 is gonna go to Ant-Man, which was a very big surprise. Now I was still looking forward to the film before it was coming out, but I just didn't know how it was gonna turn out. It turned out to be a great time. I had such a great time with it. Paul Rudd was so good as Scott Lang and Ant-Man. Michael friggin' Douglas was great. And the beautiful Evangeline Lilly knocked it out of the park. And so did Corey Stoll. Now, like, the action was great. The comedy was great. It wasn't your typical superhero movie because it was more of a heist film, which I really liked. And while I didn't love everything about the film, I almost thought the film was perfect. But the villain was pretty weak. That was my only problem with the movie, but it was still a great time at the movies. I would say I liked it more than Age of Ultron, but I still liked Age of Ultron, just not as much as I wanted to. I wanted to love that film, but it was some stuff happened with it. But Ant-Man was great. I know there's some people out there who are like, I don't want to see it, but you know what? It's a good film. Go see it if you haven't seen it. Great film. I wish I got to see it in IMAX, but I didn't get a chance to see it in IMAX. Great film.
I mean, Ant-Man's an interesting choice. I mean, obviously, I fucking hated the movie. I mean, I really hated it to a point where I was like, you know what? I don't want any fucking poster of this movie because it's just so bad. You know, I just didn't care. Obviously, come
That's on. A nice Tom Hooper angle you have.
I know. The King's speech. Mr. King, do you have a speech impediment? Yes, I do. Okay, there was my Tom Hooper impression. Ant-Man's a good choice. So I guess I shouldn't talk about it that much because it's my number 5 as well. Listen, I'm a Marvel fanboy, as you guys can fucking tell, and I'm gonna go ahead and call him out because guess what? He doesn't fucking watch this show. There's people on my friends list on Facebook, Kevin Morrison, who refused to see Ant-Man because Edgar Wright was not attached to it. And just doing that alone pisses me off, and it's like, you're not going to even give this movie a chance. I love Edgar Wright as much as the next cat, but guess what? Things change in this fucking industry at the drop of a hat, and you got to have to just roll with it, okay? You got to trust what they're doing over there. So it's like what Brian said. Ant-Man, I was already excited to see it because I have faith in Marvel at this point. I mean, Brian, how many movies are they in? Like 8 or 9?
I think like not 10. I think 10.
Yeah, it's like 9 or 10. And so I think at this point, if you don't like those movies, you're not going to go watch them. And if you do like them, you're going to kind of trust them unless they do something so far out of left field and it just like completely just derails the whole entire franchise. But I loved Ant-Man. It was a nice surprise. It was very funny. I like the continuation of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I love all the tie-ins between Avengers and it's setting up for Civil War. Ant-Man's going to be in Civil War. I think Paul Rudd completely nailed it. I've always been a huge fan of him ever since 40-Year-Old Virgin.
Same as well.
Yeah, I mean, like, he was also an Anchorman and stuff, and he did some smaller films before that. But
Hot American Summer.
Yeah, exactly. That was one of his first movies. It wasn't his first movie, but it was one of his first. And he's the type of actor to where, like, he's so charismatic and just so likable. It doesn't matter if he's playing a bad guy or a good guy or someone in the middle. He's always going to be
always likable in every role he plays.
Yeah, no, he's fantastic. There's no arguing against Paul Rudd. Like, one of my friends that lives out in California, he absolutely loves Paul Rudd. And I told him, I was like, hey, listen, even the most diehard Paul Rudd fans that were like, scowling at the fact that he's playing a superhero, give it a chance, man, because I thought he nailed the character of Scott Lang. And, of course, Michael Douglas, man. It's fucking Michael Douglas. And then Evangeline Lilly was good. Can't wait to see what she does in the future of this universe. And then you're right, Corey Stoll wasn't the best villain we had, but at the same time, he's better than most of them. And I kind of really liked the fight scenes between him and Yellow Jacket. So
the fight scenes were fantastic.
Yeah, so I mean, for some weird reason, it worked for me. But I mean, listen, as much as I'm a fanboy, I can take my fucking fanboy glasses off and go, you know what, Marvel? Your villains suck. They do. I mean, there's only a couple I've really liked. That would be Loki and Ultron. But other than that, their villains are kind of So, I mean, you know, it is what it is. But, hey, it was a complete surprise to many people. And for me being a Marvel fanboy, I was expecting greatness, and I got it. So that is my number 5 pick is good old Ant-Man. So, Matt, what is your number 4?
Let's continue the wave of Ant-Man because my number 4 is Ant-Man.
Well, shit. So is there anything different that we didn't mention that you kind of really liked or something?
Well, I mean, when I first heard of the whole Edgar, I was one of the guys who didn't give a shit about the whole Edgar Wright's not doing it because it's Marvel, all right? Mm-hmm. It's not going to be bad. Kevin Feige is good at what he does. And as well as I knew Corey Stoll because I watched some of The Strain, you know, on FX.
Yeah.
It's an okay show. Not bad. I like it.
Yeah, I was actually introduced to Corey Stoll through House of Cards, and he was fucking awesome on that show.
Yeah. I remember he was on that too, with Kevin Spacey and Kate Mara. We'll get to her later. But, well, there's not much to say. I mean, you guys basically said it. It's such a good movie because no one expected it to be good based on how all the stuff went down behind set. And I actually liked it a lot. Yeah. It was funny. I could see myself watching it multiple times. It reminded me like of Guardians of the Galaxy in that way, where it's like, it doesn't matter. I mean, it's an obscure character, but it's fun. And plus,
I'm totally with you, man. I cannot wait until I hear the street date for the Blu-ray of Ant-Man because I'm going to totally buy it on the first day.
I can't. That's great, yeah.
Yeah, it's just one of those movies, like you said, it's rewatchable. Like, I saw it twice, like I did with Ultron, and I liked it more the second time, just like I did with Ultron. So, and dude, Marvel's knocking it out of the park. Now, I got to ask the question because it's a very popular question, and I kind of want to know which way people are leaning. Matt, I'll let you go first. If you could only one next year, and the other one you can never watch, ever, are you going with Civil War, or are you going with Batman v Superman? So are you going to ride that Marvel train and keep going on this journey, or are you going to stop it dead in its tracks to go on the flip side to DC?
See, I've seen Man of Steel, so I could also say I thought Man of Steel was okay. I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. I have it on DVD. I don't have it on Blu-ray. But I honestly would give Batman v Superman a chance first. Wow. Because Marvel's the champ right now, so I want to see what the competitor can do first.
But you can never see Civil War, ever.
I'll take that hit. I'll wait.
Wow. Oh, shit. Okay. Okay, Brian, what about you? Which one would you...
I would go for the same because, like, listen, I'm excited for Civil War, but Batman and Superman together on the screen for the first time, that I must see it. I must see that. Listen, Civil War is going to be great. That's what I'm hoping, but, like, I'm more excited for Batman v Superman. That's the one I'm anticipating the most, and it's coming out on like 2 weeks after my birthday. Of course I'm excited. Finally, a good movie coming out in March. There's usually shit movies that come out in March. So I'm very excited about that.
You know what's really strange is I actually agree with both of you. Because you're right. It's like this is something new, and, you know, Civil War is going to be great. But, I mean, if you want to talk about making it even harder and going like Infinity War and then like Batman v Superman, that's a tougher choice, but I go with Batman v Superman. So with that being said, Brian, what is your number 4?
I am going to go with Straight Outta Compton as my number 4.
Oh, shit. They actually made your list.
I loved this film so much. I am not a big fan of hip-hop. I'm not, okay? Me and him are not big hip-hop fans. A lot of kids our age are, and I'm not judging them. They don't like classic hip-hop. You know kids who like classic hip-hop? The kids from Dope, a great film that almost made this list. Mm-hmm. What I loved about Straight Outta Compton was that whenever I watch a biopic, I want to see these people that they're playing and not the actors. This movie, I saw the characters that they were playing. I felt like I was watching NWA. I felt like I saw Ice Cube and Eazy-E and Dr. Dre. And all three of these guys were fantastic. So many people were shocked when they announced that Ice Cube's son was going to be playing Ice Cube. I'm like, I don't know about that, but he turned out to be fantastic. Jason Mitchell as Eazy-E was terrific. I would love it if he got some award buzz. And Corey Hawkins as Dr. Dre was terrific. The music was great. The cinematography was great. The script was really good. Yes, I may agree that the last 30 minutes weren't exactly fantastic, but I was still engaged from beginning to end. And I did feel the pacing throughout the film, but I was still engaged from beginning to end. I had a great time with this movie. I really did. And I love biopics. And this was one of the best music biopics I've ever seen, but it's not one of the best biopics I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's a hell of a biopic. Because here's the deal. Like, every time when one of those songs were playing throughout the movie, dude, I was totally fucking singing it out loud. Are you kidding me? As soon as they dropped Fuck the Police and Straight Outta Compton and Boys in the Hood, I was all over that shit. And I worked for the police. So when I was singing Fuck the Police, it was really funny. No, Straight Outta Compton's a great choice. I can't wait. I just want to twist my nipples because my number 4 choice is it's gonna make them both so mad. Not really mad, but they're just gonna be disappointed in me. Oh man, I gotta put Ultron at number 4, man.
Oh, I'm leaving. No.
Listen. You know, and I've told Brian this numerous times, and he kind of wants to just deny it and just kind of want to go cry in the corner. But you know, I just love fucking Ultron, man. It's better than the first one. I fucking said it. And don't think that I'm some terrible person that just hates the first one. I fucking own all of them from that cinematic universe. But for me personally, I love Ultron. And people's complaints about Ultron becoming evil too quick, after seeing it a second time, it actually makes sense. Because I was like, he's a computer that evolves. Just like technology evolves into like this fast-paced, you know, entity. That's exactly what Ultron did. Make total sense in that regard. The only thing I didn't really like is the whole Thor going to take a magical dirty bath in the hot tub time machine. Yeah. That was the only thing that I absolutely hated. But for the most part, I loved the fact that Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver were in it because they were awesome in it. I loved all the flash forwards of all the dreams. Those were awesome. And I really loved how the movie opened when Tony has his vision. I was like, oh shit, this is about to go down. But I love it, man. And of course, fucking Ultron. James Spader's voice could just like, I want him to read me a bedtime story to like put me to sleep. That guy's voice is amazing.
I know. I agree with you on that.
No, shit. I'm trying to think of I'm gonna tear you apart from the inside. Like I'm trying to work on my Spader.
Even him in the office, like he was just so awesome in that.
Yeah, he's great in everything. And I even watched the pilot of that Blacklist show, which was like 3 years ago. But I want to finish that at some point. But yeah, Age of Ultron is my number 4. Of course, I'm going to rate it higher than Ant-Man because I liked it more than Ant-Man. But if I liked it that much, and I'm a Marvel fanboy, why did I not put it higher? Woo! I guess there's more to come. Obviously. So.
Or Matt just went to quickly do something. So.
Oh my goodness! I guess Brian will have to go first for his number 3.
Oh joy!
Brian, what is your number 3?
Mad Max Fury Road.
Is it? Wow! It's actually that low. I thought it would have been at least your top 2.
I mean, here's the deal. This movie was perfect, pretty much in every way possible. I had such a great time seeing this movie. I saw it in 3D. So great. And the fact that it's going to be re-released in IMAX, I just bought the bitch on Blu-ray a few days ago. I have yet to watch it. I'm probably going to watch it tonight. I just loved it. Tom Hardy is consistently killing it. This is going to be a great year for him. He had Mad Max, he has Legend coming out, and he's got The Revenant coming out. This guy is constantly in good films, and I'm so happy, and I'm glad that more people are starting to get to know him, because a lot of people didn't really know him before Mad Max. Yeah, people were like, oh, wait a minute, he was Bane in Dark Knight Rises. Obviously, some people didn't know because he had the mask on, so people didn't know. But yeah, Mad Max Fury Road was a great film. It was just so much. Yeah, it's my number 3. I had a great time with it. I just loved it from beginning to end. Love Charlize Theron as Furiosa. Nicholas Hoult was pretty good too in the movie. The visuals were great. And I'm excited to see where this whole story goes if George Miller decides to do a sequel, which he says he is, but I don't know if it is true or not. I mean, Mad Max Fury Road is a great film.
Yeah, like after the critical acclaim of Mad Max, I'm sure he's getting offers left and right, and I don't know if he'll have time to do a sequel. And if he does want to do a sequel, he's going to want to do it right away and not wait 15 more years. So, yeah, Matt, this is going to sound really sexist, but, you know, because I'm just judging her on her looks. you know, even when she is bald and she's got charcoal over her face and she's missing a limb,
She is fucking hot.
Yep.
Charlize Theron is still hot. Like, it's ridiculous how hot she is, even with all the stuff on her. But anyways,
From Eve Queen to Furiosa, yeah, she's always will be hot. Always.
Yeah. No, she's and it's not just her looks, guys. Don't throw pitchforks at me. She's actually a really cool, badass character. I really enjoyed her in that movie. But that's Brian's number 3, not mine. Matt, what is your number 3?
It's from your boy Jason Blum and Joel Edgerton, The Gift.
Yes. What was great about The Gift to you? And what was your first impression of the trailer when it came out?
I'm going to be honest. I was one of the few people that actually was like, I might want to go see that movie when I saw the trailer, even though I know it was bad.
You were the only one. You were the only one in the country that thought that.
Yeah. Well, as I said, the Brian knows me as a guy who somewhat likes bad movies.
Oh, he likes bad movies.
Sometimes. On occasion. But when I saw this movie, I was like, holy shit, this is great. It was so fucking good. Edgerton's directing was on point. It wasn't filled with jump scares, even though the couple that are in the movie were really good, were really well done. And the ending of that movie, actually, I'm going to tell you this. I went to see it with my cousin. Me and him had a debate over the ending, because you know how it's like an open-ended ending, let's just say?
Yeah.
Me and him had a debate, because we came from different sides on it. That's why, basically, the two sides of what happened, basically.
A lot of people were like that when I went to see the movie.
Really?
Like, a lot of people were like talking once the credits started rolling, so it was pretty interesting.
It's one of those endings that kind of leaves you cold, and you're just like, what? I don't. What just happened? So
Fucked up. It's like, yeah.
It's a really fucked up, like, cold ending, but I mean, it totally works. But that's a great choice, man. For my number 3, I gotta go with the coolest looking Hobbit in the game. I'm going Mission Impossible 5, Rogue Nation. Good old Tommy Cruise, man. That fucking guy. I swear to everything. Like, when you watch the first one, for some weird reason, this is one of the only franchises that's getting better as it goes. It's just like the Fast and Furious franchise. It's crazy. But the one thing I liked about Rogue Nation more than Ghost Protocol is it was filled with tension. The action sequences were dead on, and like they were paced out well. They kept you on edge. They were exciting, and you wanted to see just more and more and more. And when the movie ended, I was like, why? I wanted to see more of this shit. It's so good, man. It's just a really good spy thriller. I had such a damn good time with this movie. And all the thing is with me in Rogue Nation Ghost Protocol is, like, beyond the Dubai scene, I don't really remember much from Ghost Protocol. The difference is with Rogue Nation, I actually remember all the sequences. I remember the story. I remember everything beat by beat from start to finish. And I think that's what makes it stand out for me the most. But in terms of a summer blockbuster, but it's also a really engaging thriller, I mean, it's so good, guys. It's just a really good thriller, like I said, really good summer blockbuster. So that's my number 3. I adored Rogue Nation a lot. Little fun fact, that was a double header that day. I saw Rogue Nation first, and then I saw Vacation afterwards. So it was like someone gave you a medal for something that you did, and then they just ripped it away from you and then spat in your face and then shat all over your body, and they're just like, enjoy it. And I was like, cool, thanks, asshole. That's exactly how my day went. But anyways, I'll rant on that in a little bit. So that is my number 3. So it's, wow. Just at our number 3s, it's like we have a thriller from a first-time director, we have a spy thriller, and then we have a post-apocalyptic thriller. That's pretty good. Okay, so Matt, we're getting into the heat of it now. So
Pretty.
This is like, you know, where I'm gonna start using my psychic powers. I'm gonna start to guess. Now, judging on the poster in the background, you have Mad Max in one of your 2 spots, correct?
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna say, fuck. I don't think it's your number 2. Am I correct?
Yes, you are.
Okay, so what is your number 2?
Number 2 is Rogue Nation.
Wow. Okay.
Well, the reason why, as I say, Compton's on this list, as you know now, is because I didn't get to see it, so I don't want to put a movie I don't know. Haven't seen it. So,
Okay.
respect, respect him, respect you, respect everybody. But Rogue Nation, it was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Because let me tell you, I've only seen bits and pieces of one. Some of it came out too, but as a movie, I see 2 as okay movie. But I know Mission Impossible is a disgrace to people. 3 I have not seen. I watched Ghost Protocol before. I've seen all of it. Don't remember the fucking villain from that movie. And then I saw this, and I was like, this movie is great. It was almost perfect, basically.
Yeah, the only problem I had, this was literally the only problem. If this would have been fixed, I would have walked away going, this is one of the most perfect spy thrillers ever made. The ending battle with the boss was way too fast. It just it was there and then it was gone and then the movie resolved and I was like, we could have stretched it out just a tad more. But other than that, it's a damn near perfect movie. Just like you said, it's just, to quote you, it's fucking awesome.
Well, I actually, even though I can understand you wanted a whole fight between the two, I do like the way, though, how that scene went, the camera angles and the shots. And it was like, damn, the dude fucked up. It's like he lost.
Yeah, no, it's cool how he gets captured.
How he got him back, yeah.
Yeah, and he's firing real bullets in that fucking cage, and Tom Cruise is standing there going, you know what? I'm a crazy son of a bitch. If it goes through the glass, I'm going to die right here on camera. Like, God, that guy is fucking amazing.
As well as, I loved all the scenes. My favorite scene from that movie had to be from diving underwater to driving a car to motorcycle chase.
Yep. It was all, back to back to back. It was fantastic.
In, 20 minutes, 15, 20 minutes, yeah. It was incredible.
Oh, I fucking love that movie. I will definitely try to own that one day. Okay, this is getting interesting. Because when I talked to Brian, he said he liked Rogue Nation, but I don't know if he liked it enough to put it in his top 2.
I can already guess what his number 1 is. I'm guessing. I probably know what it is, but I'm not going to say it.
I think I'm gonna call a prediction. I think that me and him actually have the same number 1.
I think we probably have the same number 1.
I think we do. So at number 2, I'm gonna go ahead and say it's Rogue Nation.
Yes, it's Rogue Nation.
Boom, motherfucker. Okay.
I fucking love this film. Saw it in IMAX. IMAX is the shit. Constantly, every film I've seen in IMAX this year, Fury 7, Tomorrowland, and this, all of them were so good in IMAX. Tomorrowland wasn't exactly the best film, but it was so good in IMAX. I just couldn't believe it. This movie was consistently entertaining from beginning to end. The shit that Tom Cruise does. The movie starts off with him hanging from a fucking airplane. Then he goes underwater. And then he's at the opera. And then, oh my God, the car chase that leads to the motorcycle. Oh my God, this guy is a fucking maniac. He's 53 and he knocks every role out the park. He does his own stunts. There were people in their 20s that can't even do stunts. It's crazy. He is 50. He's in his 50s, and he does all these stunts. He's a fucking maniac, but he is so good. I love him as Ethan Hunt. I love the other people. There's more Simon Pegg as Benji in this. I love the addition of Rebecca Ferguson in this movie. She was not only was she hot, but she was a pure badass, and if you fuck with her, she will kill you with her pinky. You don't want to fuck with her. Ever.
Yeah.
And then there's more Jeremy Renner and then Vin Rames and then the addition of Alec Baldwin. So good. I thought Christopher McQuarrie did a very good job. Pardon me, I still don't know if I like this more than Ghost Protocol. I think I do. Ghost Protocol had great filmmaking, but like you guys said, it's not memorable after the Dubai scene. This movie is memorable from beginning to end. I only saw this movie one time, and that was opening day, July 31st. I haven't seen it since, but I still remember everything.
Yeah.
Everything. I'm sure there were some little things that I forgot, but I remember so much, and it's tension filled. The scene where he's at the table and there's that bomb attached to that one person. That scene terrified the shit out of me. Like, it was crazy. This movie had me on the edge of my seat from beginning to end. I loved Rogue Nation. Loved it. Great film. Best action film of this summer. It's the most fun I had this summer. But it's not my best of the summer.
Yeah, I know it's your best. Yeah, what's crazy is, like, Tom Cruise is around the same age as my dad. So it's like, holy shit, this guy's incredible. So, Matt, why is Mad Max your favorite movie of the summer?
First of all, it was one of the 2 movies I saw twice. I saw, take a guess, what's the other one?
Oh, shit, I didn't do my number 2. Whatever. Go ahead, just go ahead and keep talking about Mad Max.
All right. Well, before I get to Mad Max, though, the only other movie I saw before that twice was Age of Ultron. So was he, because, you know, we had a class.
Yeah, we had a class together. We went on a trip to see it together the second time.
Okay.
And Mad Max, see, the reason why Mission Impossible is not perfect is because Mad Max is fucking perfect. Everything, and I mean everything about that movie, I loved. I've watched it 3 times. 2 in the movie theater, and then actually the day before we had to go back to school, I actually watched it again. And let me tell you how much I love this. I bought the anthology set that just came out, recently, where it has Mad Max, Road Warrior, Thunderdome, and now Fury Road's in there too. God damn. I have the poster up there. I mean...
I got him that poster when I was in Cape Cod.
You did. I'll give him that. But it's just, every time I see that movie, it gives me goosebumps. It's because it's how, like, beautiful, but gritty, but disgusting, but awesome, but everything. It's so contradictory. It's so...
See, there's, like, no words to say, because you, so adore this film with a passion.
Good, yes. And it's really, like, I can't even speak about it because of how good it is. Like, all the visual storytelling and how cool they did that. And I didn't notice this till yesterday, actually, and I still notice things about this movie. When I was watching it, the scene after, where the brides escape when he walks into the vault and they're not there, I didn't notice they wrote shit on the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, damn, that's some visual storytelling. Like,
I mean, this is like a pure example of, like, visual storytelling with an action movie. It's insane.
Yes. And I love it because it never drags either. I always, like, every time I'm about to be like, oh, it's dragging, boom, action scene. I'm like, yeah, there we go.
yeah, that's the stuff. You're almost like a drug addict. You're just like, oh, okay, that's the stuff right there. Okay.
It's an addiction. That fucking movie's an addiction, man.
It really is. Like, after seeing it twice, like, I was like, damn, man, that was pretty fun.
I mean, I loved it so much. I saw it in 3D the second time, and I loved it even more in 3D.
Yeah, no, it was actually really
great the first time, and it was fucking great.
Yeah,
that's not a movie you should watch in 2D.
Yeah.
Like, it's not.
It's made for 3D, but in a good way.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually really good in 3D. Like, me and my roommate saw it opening weekend in 3D, their version of IMAX, and that was an experience. Yeah, so Mad Max, man, that's a pretty good number 1. It's pretty good. I'm gonna put Brian on the spot because he never guesses correctly. Brian, what is my number 2?
Fuck. The Gift.
Oh shit! Wow. Okay. So The Gift is my number 2, and the reason why I put it on here is because, unlike Matt, and with 99.9% of the rest of the country, the trailers looked awful. It looked like a standard paint by the numbers stalker thriller, like The Roommate or The Stepfather, bullshit like that. So I wasn't really looking forward to it, but I love my man Jason Blum and what he's doing with his production company. I mean, the guy produces and releases like 20 movies a year. He's a beast. The reason why I put The Gift as number 2 is because once I heard great things about it, I was like, okay, so maybe this could be something. Like what Matt said, this is a tension-filled movie. Nothing ever slows down. Even from scene number 1 to when it fucking closes, you're literally on edge because you don't know what the fuck is going to happen. And that's the cool thing. It throws different plot twists at you that you're just like, wow, I actually genuinely did not see that coming. And Joel Edgerton, man, not only was he a creepy motherfucker in the movie, he directed and wrote this movie, and it's his first directorial debut. my word, if this is his first one, I cannot wait to see what he does after this. Like, the guy knows how to build suspense and tension with the atmosphere given around him. That's what makes him great. And it's like what Matt said. There's 2 jump scares in the entire movie, and I knew they were coming, but at the same time, I still fucking jumped because I was invested in the story. I was invested in the characters to where it scared the shit out of me when they both happened. But it's like what Matt said. They were told in a creative way to where I was like, I'm actually okay with that. It wasn't a cheap jump scare. He knows what I'm talking about. The shower scene.
I love that scene.
Oh, it's so good. So good.
Like he's farther away. That's what makes it so good. It looks like he's like farther away, but then when you see he's right there, it's like, oh fuck.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It's woo. You want to talk about one of the biggest surprises of the summer or even the fucking year? It's The Gift.
It might be the biggest surprise of the summer.
It's this year's Edge of Tomorrow, basically.
Yeah.
This looks like shit. Oh my fucking god, that was amazing.
It's something else, man. I actually want to own that. That's how much I loved it. And so that's why I put it as my number 2. So here we go. So if Matt is Mad Max for his number 1, I'm going to just take a stab at this. I think me and Brian have the same number 1, and I'm going to just make a little guess. Brian, did this movie make you cry?
Yes.
Okay, so we had the same number 1. Brian, would you like to introduce our number 1s?
Our number 1 goes to Inside Out, the best animated film of this year.
Yep. No, I really love this movie, man. When I saw it, first of all, I was the only guy in my 20s. And second of all, I was the only guy without a family. And third of all, I was the only one without kids. And fourth of all, I was the only one without, a girlfriend next to me or like a wife. So I was like alone in there. There was families surrounding me, and they're just like, look at that creepy motherfucker over there. And the kids are probably just like, mommy, look at him. He's going to kidnap me. And it's like, just calm down. But I remember when I went in there, I sat down, I was like, you know what? I got my balls with me today. I ain't gonna fucking cry. And once again, Pixar likes to pull out that trump card and just nail you in the head with literal emotions in this and make you feel emotional about growing up and stuff. The one thing I really loved about this movie the most, and it's my second favorite Pixar movie behind Toy Story 3, is that this is a simple story. All it is a girl moving. That's all it is. But we get inside her head and we see how she is reacting to this, how she's feeling about this, and all the subtext and all the fucking metaphors and just everything about this movie is super smart, and how we as kids grow up and stuff, and we start adapting and changing and stuff from our personalities, and we start gaining new aspects that will form a stronger personality that will kind of like, define us for the rest of our lives, so to speak. Like when you're a kid, like you are exposed to certain things and it really molds in who you are, but some of them might change every now and then, but it's still going to have like your core self. It's so fucking smart. And it's one of those movies that you should play in front of kids, not only because it's colorful and entertaining, but it's also, like I said, really smart for the child psychology aspect of it. It is like the greatest representation of kids growing up. And in some cases, when kids have to move. I didn't have to move as a kid. Like, I mean, me and my family moved when I was 5 years old, but that was right before I started kindergarten. But once I got to kindergarten, I stayed in the same school district for, all the way up until 12th grade. So I don't know how that feels, but I can only imagine how it feels to some people. And some of the things that were in this movie, we can all relate to, on how we have imaginary characters and, they eventually perish off and we grow up and stuff. It's just so sad, man, because we've all experienced this. Pixar, you were the motherfucking man. So that's why it's my number 1. And it might make my top 10 of the year. I don't know yet. The year's getting pretty competitive. We'll find out. So, Brian, why is it your number 1?
You basically said everything I was going to say. This movie really was fantastic.
Well, okay, so in that aspect then, I forgot to mention, the voice casting, genius. I haven't seen voice casting this good since Wreck-It Ralph, and I'm going to go ahead and do it because I got really good at it.
Go ahead.
Congratulations, San Francisco. You ruined pizza. Listen, Louis Black has got to be one of the most entertaining people in Hollywood, and having him record that in a sound booth has got to be one of the most funniest things because he's probably got his weird hand motions and stuff. But anyways, voice casting is fantastic. And I was also happy to see Kyle MacLachlan be in there because I'm a huge Twin Peaks fan and David Lynch fan in general, and he's always in them. So anyways, sorry to cut you off, Brian. So since I pretty much mentioned all the film aspects of it, how did it affect you, like emotionally and stuff? Like, how did you connect to it?
The thing is, I never really moved as a kid either. I moved when I was like 2 years old, but I was still in the same town. But like at that age, the character of Riley was like 11, and at that time, like that's when you start, hitting puberty, and like when you start expressing more feelings. I was able to relate to that because I think she was like 5th grade, 6th grade. I was like that around that time, and I was able to relate to that very well. Like I had some imaginary friends in my head. Like it was a beautifully animated film. I mean, just the story was so simple, like you said. The comedy too was fantastic. It was a very funny film, and when it was heartfelt, it hit your heartstrings. If you did not feel anything during this movie, you obviously have no fucking heart. Like this movie really just touched me in every way possible. Pixar has been a big part of my life ever since I was a little kid. And the fact that their last few films before this haven't been very good, I was a little worried that this film wasn't going to be very good. I saw the trailers and I'm like, you know what, this film could be good. And it's my favorite film of the year so far. Like this film really just got to me. I had a great time with it. I loved it. And I am so excited to see what else they do with these characters. I know they're going to do a short that's going to be with the Blu-ray that's coming out. I'm just very happy with Pixar. This film will not only win the Best Animated Feature Oscar, it should be nominated for Best Picture. It should be the first animated film to be nominated for Best Picture since Toy Story 3. And if it's not nominated, then I'll be pissed off. But it will win Best Animated Feature no matter what.
I totally agree, man.
And it should have made $1 billion, unlike Minions.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. But this movie is more – it's weird, man, because it's so kid-friendly, but more adults will connect to it more than children because just like you said, children haven't reached that age yet. Unless you take an 11-year-old to this movie, it's kind of strange because it's like, here's what you're going to witness in the next couple years of your life. But yeah, it's more adults connect to it more because they've experienced this, but it's also a great psychology lesson for children and how the mind works and all of our emotions and stuff. It's a brilliant movie, man. I cannot wait to see it again. I have to ask you this, and you too, Matt. A lot of people had a problem with the short in front of it. I actually
he didn't see Inside Out.
I'm about to get roasted by both of you now because I didn't see it. And here we go. Let the roasting commence in 3, 2, 1.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
I actually find it kind of funny that his number one is like a hard R, gritty, violent movie, and ours is like
a PG family film.
Yeah, it's funny, but like, okay, so Brian, did you like the lava short?
Well, okay, here's the thing. When I saw it at first, I was like, I try not to laugh because of the story. It was like, bravo! Like, it was kind of funny, but at the same time, it was a very interesting short. It was very different from what Disney and Pixar have done with their shorts. I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it either. I liked it. I thought it was a nice short before the movie.
I really liked it. I don't know why people are complaining about it so harshly.
My sister thought it was so funny. When she saw it with her friends, she didn't want to laugh, but one of her friends was like laughing so hard. Like she felt so bad, and then everyone was like looking at them. Like they try not to laugh it. But
yeah, no, you're right. It's definitely the most different one they've ever done, but I really enjoyed it. So with that being said, guys, that is all 3 of our top 5. So let me flash it out in front of the whole world to see. It's actually a pretty good little list. We all have Ant-Man. We all have Rogue Nation. I don't have Mad Max, so you can go ahead and shoot me now. Let's see. Yeah, those are the only 3 that we have in common. And then there's a bunch of doubles. I was the only one that put Ultron because, I'm a stand up for what I believe in. Brian's the only one that put Compton up. And then everyone, and then Matt put Trainwreck. So it seems like it's pretty spread out, but we got some common ones in there. So very good summer. But it's not just these 5. that captured our little movie hearts. There's a bunch of them that did that, and I'll go ahead and start this off. I'm going to go ahead and just, make it really fast. Mad Max, of course, as an honorable mention. Dope. Ted 2. Yeah, I actually like the second Ted. Amy, the Amy Winehouse documentary. Mr. Holmes, I almost put that on there. I really love Mr. Holmes. Trainwreck, End of the Tour, Straight Outta Compton, Slow West, Heaven Knows What, and the Stanford Prison Experiment. So those are my honorable mentions. And then, of course, there's a little list at the bottom for all the worst pieces of shit, and we'll get to that. But those are my honorable mentions. So there's a lot of them that just couldn't cut it. But if we had a top 10, I'd probably put Mad Max, Trainwreck, and all the ones I mentioned on there. So, Matt, what are some of the ones that just didn't really make your list, but you really enjoyed?
Southpaw first.
Oh, shit, I totally forgot about that movie. I love Southpaw.
The problem I had, the problem with what angered me so much, I'm like, why does it have to have a 59%? It's so much better than that.
I don't understand that. People complain about cliches too much, and it drives me fucking crazy.
Funny thing,
listen, it is a cliche film, but it was a really good film.
It's well done.
I saw it at an advanced screen, and I had a great time with it. I mean, I don't like the fact that someone brought their kids to see the movie, but the cool thing was the kids were actually quiet. They were quiet. I love it when kids are quiet. Kids, if you're quiet in the movie theater, you are saints. You guys are the best. But yeah, Southpaw was a very good film. I don't think it was the best, but I still really liked it. Like the boxing scenes in that film were so good.
But probably one of the best, some of the best ever made.
Not the best ever made, but when you compare it to films like Raging Bull or Rocky, like it's not up there.
But it's pretty fucking
or Cinderella Man, but it's not up there. Or The Fighter. But it is still a good boxing film. It's a really good film.
Probably realistic, you could say.
Well, yeah. Do you know what I'll give Southpaw in its boxing scenes is that because like Raging Bull, I just watched that literally a couple weeks ago because I bought it from someone and I'm just now watching it. But that was like more grit, and that was really intense to watch. Southpaw was filmed in such a way to where it was almost like watching an HBO pay-per-view event, but we got to be really up close and personal. But that's not a bad thing. It was like we were literally put in the action. We were seeing like this televised event and stuff. I don't know. I mean, that's the best way I can describe it. But it's really good. So yeah, I don't know why people are shitting on it. So Matt, what are some other ones?
A close one was Fast and Furious 7.
Does that really count though?
Well, here's the thing with me. You know how a lot of people consider Winter Soldier a summer film?
No.
Wait. Well, all right. If you consider that a summer film, then whatever.
It basically kicked it off, all those big movies.
Sure, I'll give you that.
Yeah. So, I mean, I really like that film. I was like, I was going to put it there, but when I thought, oh yeah, Trainwreck, fuck. I was like, yeah, it was like one of those split-second decisions.
What else do you have?
I have to remember it. Oh yeah, Ultron I would put on there. I know, Chase. I liked. Sure, I might have liked it more than him, but
you definitely liked it more than me.
Yeah,
listen, Matt. Brian just has like a cactus up his ass all the time.
No, listen to me carefully. That was my second most anticipated film of this entire year. I was expecting like the greatest superhero sequel like of this year, but I was expecting the greatest. I probably was so hyped up for it because the trailers were so good. If Star Wars was not coming out this year, Age of Ultron would have been my most anticipated film of this year.
I think you had too much expectation going in. I think that's what killed most people with this movie.
That's why I don't hate the film. I liked it, but I wanted to love it. That's why.
And whatever.
But I'm not judging you for loving it.
All right, because I thought that when I saw that film, I thought I would say 3/4 met my expectations. Just some of some of the plot and some of them cut out. I just wish it was there. Basically, I would have sat there for half an hour more, probably.
Is there any more that tickled your fancy, I guess?
Yeah, I don't know. You're going to be kind of shocked when I say this. I liked Unfriended.
I loved Unfriended. Are you kidding me?
Oh, that's not a summer movie. It's April.
It was April. Well,
hey, I still loved it.
Yeah.
I didn't see Unfriended.
It came after Fast, so yeah, I could say it then. I don't want to say it follows. It was probably before. I know
that's before,
yeah,
too.
It was before.
But yeah, that's really like. There's nothing really else you can think of.
There's nothing really. it's hard to do it because there's so many movies that came out.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. Like for me, like honestly, I already kind of know what I'm gonna put.
Yeah, Uncle was on there.
Oh yeah, you saw Man from Uncle. That's right.
It was fine. It wasn't bad.
Well, I didn't see it, so I can't judge.
Well, you should see Straight Outta Compton.
I know.
I blame your cousin. I blame him for this.
Brian, what are some of the ones that barely missed yours?
Well, okay, the one that I was gonna originally put this as my number 4, so that means that Ant-Man or no, what did I put for my number 4?
Compton.
Yeah, like if that film didn't come out, I would have put The End of the Tour. The End of the Tour was my favorite indie of this entire summer. Dope originally took that spot. But when I saw End of the Tour, like I know you praised it and all the other people praised it who saw it like Sundance and all these other festivals. I was so excited for this movie because I love dialogue-heavy films. To me, the script is always the most important aspect of any film. If you're not engaged by the dialogue, then there's something wrong. Because you're going to listen to these people speak for an entire film or TV show or book or anything. And if you're not engaged, then there's a problem. Jason Segel should get an Oscar nomination for Best Supporting Actor. I really hope that he gets some buzz. Eisenberg was terrific as well. Dope, like I said, was terrific. I really liked Amy. Mr. Holmes was very good. Blockbuster-wise, Age of Ultron's an honorable mention. I actually really liked Pitch Perfect 2, surprisingly. I had no expectations going into that movie because, like, I really liked the first one. I'm like, do they really have to make a sequel? And I thought it was a pretty good sequel. I enjoyed San Andreas. I had a fun time with that movie. I know it was pretty cheesy. Entourage, you know how much of a big fan of that show I am. I enjoyed that film. I didn't love it like I wanted to, but I had a good time. Jurassic World.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about
Jurassic World was good. Not great.
Favorite in June, though, definitely.
Fuck, what else came out? Shit. Trainwreck.
I mean, that's pretty much it.
Too many movies.
And there's one more indie. One indie that we saw.
Cop Car.
Cop Car.
I forgot to
Cop
mention
Car.
that.
Cab Cat. The Cab Cat was fucking Kevin Bacon.
See,
Kevin Bacon with that awesome mustache of his, but he doesn't eat bacon. He never eats bacon. If he doesn't eat a piece of bacon in Black Mass, I'm going to be pissed off. But Cop Car was a pretty good film.
All he does is have cocaine. He chases kids around and stole his car.
Yes. But that's good. What about you, Chase? Like your honorable mentions. Oh, you already mentioned them.
Yeah, I mentioned them. So that's a perfect segue into the worst of the summer. Now, here's what we're going to do. You only pick 3 of them. I wrote down 6. I'm going to try to whittle it down as fast as I can on the spot. So you can only pick 3 apiece, okay?
Okay.
All right. So I'll go first. This is tough, man. I think I'm comfortable with these 3. I'm going to go with number 3, Terminator Genesis. You thought I was done with that. No.
No, I know. You're never done with that.
It's just a confusing plot mess. There was a couple redeeming qualities that I really liked, but overall, it's just a complete mess. Number 2, I'm going to put Vacation. This is one of the worst comedies I've ever seen in my life. Listen, I love raunchy comedies. You want to look at half my fucking collection? When I was 10 years old, I started with American Pie. Look how it formed my brain, okay? I'm a messed up human being. I love raunchy stuff. But that had to be one of the most forced pieces of shit I've ever seen. I am so sick and tired of comedic filmmakers that can just throw in a fucking dick joke or a poop joke and go, see, we're funny. No, it doesn't fucking work like that.
It's called idiocy.
Yeah, it's terrible. And then my number 1, worst of the summer. You know, when I was going into it, I knew what I was expecting because people were bashing it. When the movie started, I was okay with it. As the movie progressed, I was wondering what made the critics be so goddamn mad at this movie. And then we got to the 3rd act, and then it just spiraled out of control and crashed in the middle of a fucking cornfield. That, my friends, is Fantastic Four.
Boom!
And I don't want to discuss that movie anymore. It's the last time I'm discussing it because I had a whole fucking podcast over. So those are my 3 worst movies of the summer. Terminator Genesis, and then Vacation, and then the good old F4. So, Matt, what are your 3 worst movies of the summer, starting with number 3?
Okay, well, I'm not gonna say Genesis because I think honestly I don't even know what the other ones on there because you said there's 6. So I would say it's probably one of the better ones out of all of them.
No, the 3 that I didn't pick, they're bad, but like Terminator Genesis just kind of made me frustrated, and it made my head hurt. So
I give them the benefit of the doubt. They've been through shit already. That's for sure. Yeah, they've been through hell already. So I would say number 3, Pixels.
So you actually did. I had Pixels on my list, but I was like, you know what? These 3 made me so angry to where like I can forgive Pixels. Like that's how frustrated it made me.
See, your Pixels, your thought is mine's. I enjoyed Genesis more than Pixels, and you enjoyed probably Pixels more than Genesis. Yes.
Yeah.
Here's why: because that movie had so much potential. It could have gotten Adam Sandler back on that comedy train. You had a great director doing it. The dude did Home Alones, and I love both Home Alones. But how did they end up that bad? Happy Madison, why?
I can tell you how, because they didn't give a shit.
Yes. It's like, pour all the money to the visuals, fuck everything else. So like,
what's your number 2?
Number 2. And I thought actually when you were doing your list, I thought this would be your number 1, Vacation.
I mean, it was frustrating to watch.
You told me this. When you saw Vacation, I'm like, first of all, why'd you see it? And then you told me this. You never even saw the original.
Yeah, and guess what? Now the more I ponder on it, I didn't think it was that funny at all. It was
terrible. I mean,
he's a fucking idiot.
I didn't laugh once throughout the entire movie. I grinned when we got to that cop joke with the 4 states. That was actually really funny. I was like, I can actually see that like in a comedy sketch or something. But everything else was just so frustrating, and like I didn't laugh once. And there was like some old guy in the front of the theater that was just laughing his balls off. Like this guy was laughing so hard, he gave the impression that he was cryogenically frozen for like 50 years. He was awoken to the masses of the world, and he asked the first person on the street, said, "Hey, I've been asleep for 50 years. Do you know a good comedy I could see?" And he was unfrozen at the time Vacation came out, and the person was probably like, "Well, Vacation's out," and he was like, "Let me go experience a comedy for the first time in 50 years. So he goes to go see it, and then he laughs so goddamn hard. He's on the floor, and he's just laughing and stuff, and he's just having a seizure. That's exactly what that guy was like.
I'm just surprised that you didn't take that as your number 1, because I would have thought, I thought you actually respected F4 more than that.
Well, the thing is with Fantastic Four is that I'm such a huge comic book genre fan.
Why though? Yeah.
It just disappointed me to no end. I was like, that was one of the worst anticlimactic final boss battles I've ever seen, period. So, this is bad.
Well,
what's your number 1?
Number 1, hey, I said it already. It's Fantastic Four.
Boom. Okay. I mean, it's such a fucking shit pile. So,
like, when I heard how bad it was getting bashed, I was like, you know what? I ain't going into this movie seriously. I'm just going to fucking laugh at it. That's how bad it was. And guess what? It was so bad that I was actually intrigued. I wanted to see everything. I wanted to know everything. What the fuck happened? I wanted to know.
Yep.
And for weeks, I was like sending him articles.
You kept sending me messages, and I'm like, "This is not my main focus right now. Stop. Just stop." You saw my rant. Saw my rant. I just
Did you?
Like I said, I can't talk about that movie anymore. I'm done. I'm sick of talking about it. It just needs to go die in the grave somewhere and just be buried, just alive and just suffocate. I don't want to hear about it anymore.
What just angers me though too is that the original script, I actually read what the original script is going to include Galactus, the Fantastic Car and stuff, as well as Doctor Doom. I was like, what the fuck? Why did you use that? That was way better. It was like,
it's because Josh Trank's a fucking idiot.
Well, I don't know. See, we don't know if it was Josh Trank or Fox that did it.
Wait. Here's the deal, folks. Like, if it was Josh Trank, studio, or both, I think they're both at blame. Because they couldn't find any common ground, and they completely just fucked it up. So I think they're both at fault. It doesn't matter which way you look at it. So
Fox was because Fox hired him, even though they got warnings not to do it, and then because they were greedy motherfuckers, they wanted to keep that license.
Yeah. So
and then basically Trank was drunk off his fucking ass, basically. So
yeah, it's a complete mess. So. I'm excited to see where Fantastic Four is on Brian's list. So, Brian, What is your number 3 through 1?
3 Pixels, very disappointing film. First of all, it was a terrible movie experience because of these fucking kids. One that kept yelling throughout the entire film, and one that sat in front of me because I saw it with him and 2 of our other friends, and he kept rocking his seat back and forth to me, and I was like, fucking, I almost yelled. Like, I almost wanted to yell because the movie
kids were yelling, I remember too.
Yes, the kids was like, go, man, go. Like, when Josh Gad was fucking running and screaming like a little girl when he was running from a ghost Pac-Man when he yells, I'm gonna die a virgin. And then he humps a stage when he's saying everybody wants to rule the world. What the fuck is going on with that? And why did he yell throughout the entire film? I don't fucking know. Adam Sandler has just gone downhill. Like, I have no faith in him anymore. The only time I'll ever be fine with him is when he does his dramatic work, like Punch Drunk Love or Rain Over Me. That's the only time I'll ever be fine with him. Number 2, Minions.
Wow, that one pissed you off that much?
The more I think about this film, the more I hate it. Because here's the thing, I didn't see many bad films this summer. The only like not so good films I saw were Terminator, Pixels, Minions, and my number 1. Like, just Minions, I thought this film was going to be very entertaining, but it wasn't. It was a kid film. It wasn't even that good. There was nothing that could save this movie. Not even Sandra Bullock could save this movie. The Minions are fantastic characters. They cannot carry their own film. It's not them. It's just they're better as supporting characters. And you know how a lot of people are saying that Finding Dory, it might be a little worrisome because now Dory's the main character and she was such a great sidekick? I don't know how that's going to turn out. I really don't know. Minions just wasn't funny. I maybe chuckled one time. I was just happy that Michael Keane was in this because you know how much I love that fucking man. That man is amazing.
It's like, Brian, let me ask you a question. Would you rather have a full cake or just the icing? That's exactly what Minions was. They're a great supporting entity to the Despicable Me franchise, but once you give them their own movie, it's like literally scraping the icing off of a cake and just eating it, and it's like I agree.
So good.
I agree, but I love the ending of the film. I love the ending. Pretty good. I liked it. I liked the ending. Well, because I didn't really like anything else in the film. I love the animation, but that's really the only positive thing about it.
Yeah.
So my number 1 has to be Fantastic Four. You guys saw my rant?
Listen.
It just listen. Okay. Miles Teller, my boy Miles Teller. The fact that this is the film you do after you did the incredible Whiplash. I mean, I wanted and Insurgent, that piece of shit that I still have yet to watch. Why is it that he is not good with blockbusters? Could someone explain to me? Yes, please show him the wallet.
Okay, so this is the final time I will show this. Does Matt know the story?
No.
Okay. Divergent, I'm going to try to wrap this up because we've been recording for an hour. Divergent came out in 2013. Now, I went to one of the press screenings or whatever, and Miles Teller and Jai Courtney came down to promote the film. Very cool. I was super excited to meet Miles, and this was before I saw Whiplash, and I saw Spectacular Now and stuff, and I was super just pumped to see him in person. So I took a picture with him kissing like a dog and shit, and so he goes past me, and I'm just like, oh, wow, I have this wallet that he could sign, but he already passed me. So one of my friends was actually in the front of the line, and so I rushed to give it to him, and I was like, you need to tell him to sign it on this side of the wallet. So he's like, okay. So he does it, and then he hands me the wallet, and I was like, awesome. Like, he's going to be this character, and, this could be worth something someday. Well, not anymore. But anyways, I have a Marvel wallet, and this was literally the day that he got announced as Mr. Fantastic. So I was like, perfect. This is awesome. So I had my friend give it to him, and so Miles signed it on the Mr. Fantastic side, and so I was like, this is going to be really cool when the movie comes out, and now I feel dirty for owning it. I really hope it's worth something because it's connected to a train wreck versus like a good movie, so maybe I could still work a really good angle to get a lot of money, but yeah, now I'm really embarrassed to fucking own it. So
the movie just
listen,
when they get their powers, the movie just goes completely downhill. It goes into the depths of hell.
Listen, 20th Century Fox, if you're listening, we all three just said it was the worst movie of the summer. 3 strikes and you're out, motherfucker. Go sit back in the bullpen.
I've seen so far this year.
It's pretty bad. So
how bad I think of that movie. I'd rather watch 50 Shades of Grey again.
Whoa, that actually wasn't a bad movie. It was.
I could actually enjoy watching that movie because how dumb it is.
It's an okay romance movie at best. So,
good actress, yes.
Yeah. So with that being said, guys, let's go and wrap this up because we've gone on way too long. So that was our top 5 favorite films of the summer with me, Matt, and Brian. We also gave our honorable mentions and our dislikes of the summer. And so that will be it for this week's episode. Brian, as usual, is going to introduce next week's extravaganza.
Now, here's the deal. People are going to be wondering if we're going to do top 5 M. Night Shyamalan films. Yeah, what are we going to do? Okay, we put Sixth Sense, Unbreakable Signs, and then we put The Happening. And then what do we put? The Last Airbender, The Village, Lady in the Water. What do we put? And then there's that Perfect Guy coming out with the 3 good-looking black people. No one gives a shit about that. So, because there's a movie coming out with this particular actor next month, we're going to be doing our top 5 films of Tom Hanks. Because the week that Bridge of Spies comes out, we'll be doing our top 5 Steven Spielberg films. And we thought, why not honor Tom Hanks now? He's one of the best actors of all time. We got to honor him soon.
That sounds like a great plan for me. So, yeah, that will do it for this week's episode, guys. I want to thank Matt for coming on.
Well, this is my house, so he's at my house.
Show off.
Just kidding. Yeah. Try not to be a dick. But thank you, Chase. I mean, even though this is like the second time we did something.
Yeah. I was on their podcast, the Nerdy Schoolers, which they're the co-host of. So go check that out. Brian, where can the kiddos find you online?
Well, you have my links in the my
I do, but it's always nice to just plug it.
Okay, Twitter, Brian Suds98, BryanSudz 98, and on YouTube at youtube.com/Brian Sudfield.
Awesome. And if you guys want to follow me on Twitter, it's at RealChaseLee, and all my shit, just like Brian said, and his shit as well, is in the link in the description below. Beginning and outro music is done by my friends band Fervent Roze. Check them out if you want to listen to more of their music. So that will do it for this week of Top 5 Saturdays Live. I'm your host, Chase Lee, and that is my co-host, Brian Sudfield, and his friend and guest, as well as the co-host of the Nerdy Schoolers podcast that they both do on Brian's channel, Matt. So, like I said, thank you for watching, guys. It's been a hell of a summer. Let's get into the Oscar shit. So let's go and play the outro music. So, man, I feel relieved after doing that list now. So we'll see you guys next week for another Top 5 Saturdays Live. I'm Chase Lee.
I'm Brian Sudfield.
That's fucking right. And that's Matt. So let's go ahead and play the outro music. Fantastic Four, suck my dick. I don't want to have anything to do with this wall anymore. I'm fucking done. So, what? God! See you guys later.